What's more difficult, being a newly engaged couple trying to find a photographer or a photographer trying to get started in the wedding industry? I feel like that's a tough question, but keep watching. I want to give you guys 3 things that I feel like are going to be really helpful for anybody in either of those situations. So, as a wedding photographer who is also recently engaged, I definitely understand that it is overwhelming trying to figure out who is going to be the perfect fit for your wedding. It's a once in a lifetime thing. You get one shot and you don't know everything. It's your first time planning a wedding, so that's okay. But it's also difficult trying to start out as a photographer and you feel like you don't really have the equipment that you need, and you're not really sure how to get started. And there's definitely things that I know now that I wish I had known years ago. And so I'm starting a channel that is going to be geared towards both couples and photographers to help them. Now, I mentioned that I had 3 things, and the first thing is meant for my couples, and that is being a photographer is a lot of work. And I know that might sound obvious to some of you, but for others who don't necessarily think that way, it's a lot more than just the day of, the 8 to 10 hours that you're there for the wedding. There's so much that happens before, and there's the hours of editing. There is the money that you spend on the gear that you have. And then that's just the one side of it. Then you also have to make sure that you're able to support yourself if you're doing this professionally and this is your main source of income. So for some of you who might be shopping around and looking at prices and thinking to yourselves, is this too much? You have to understand that there's a lot more that goes into it than what it seems like. My second thing is meant for my photographers, and that is, if you love what you do, it's not that hard. And I know that I mentioned that it's a lot of work, and it is, but it makes it way easier when you love what you do. You want to find out more and you want to get better, and that is what kind of makes it worth it. I remember when I started, I took an introductory class in photography, and I had to get a camera. And so before the class even started, I looked up everything that I possibly could. And in the first 3 or 4 weeks of class, I had already known everything that they were teaching, and I still find myself today trying to improve and look things up and do my research and be creative and to try to get better than where I was last year. And I feel like when you get to that point, you know that you're on the right track. And so the third thing is definitely for both couples and photographers. I don't want to make this video too long, so I split it up into 2 videos. That one is going to be, there's a link in the description where you guys can find that. So make sure you go ahead to that. Please, when you get there, subscribe. What I want to do is create a community that helps each other out, and please feel free to comment if there are any topics that you want me to talk about or questions that you have. I'll make sure that I go through and I am constantly checking so that I'm keeping up in content that you want to hear about. So make sure you go there, click the link down below. Like I said, it's in the description, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.